Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Sunday, November 3rd, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORION-NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got Sunday Night Football, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Minnesota Vikings. Kickoff is going to be here in roughly 10 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get ready for some football. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb, on the left, we got the running back stud, Jonathan Taylor. And on the right, we got Jets, Jay Jetta, Justin Jefferson. I assume we'll get some decent fantasy points based off these two individuals here tonight. And hopefully we end up getting a competitive matchup between the Colts and the Vikings. Let's go, baby. We've had a pretty wild Sunday, obviously, and we'll go over some of the scores that have been finally completed with the Rams and Seahawks game going into overtime. I'm going to get all my screens situated here as well. But I am glad that we are getting a chance to see Joe Flacco out there instead of AR. That gives more fantasy value for not only Jonathan Taylor, but also for people like, Downs, Pittman, Pierce, pretty much everyone that is looking to get a catch from a quarterback. So we'll see what kind of, matchup that we end up getting here tonight. But we got this Colts 4-4, 1-3 on the road versus the Minnesota Vikings, who are 5-2, 3-1 on at home for Minnesota. Skol! And we have the Falcons 27, Cowboys 21, Bills 30, Dolphins 27, Bengals 41, Raiders 24, Chargers 27, Browns 10, Titans 20, Patriots 17. You had the Commandos in a little bit closer of a matchup, 27-22 over the Giants. Panthers squeak out one against the Saints, 23-22. Ravens win 41-10 over the Broncos, showing why they're one of the best teams in the NFL. Eagles 28, Jags 23. Saquon Barkley doing crazy things like jumping backwards and hurdling over individuals. I see you, Saquon. Cardinals 29, Bears 9. And, for a lot of people, the best team in football right now might be the Detroit Lions, winning on the road against the Green Bay Packers 24-14. And then obviously the Rams winning in overtime 26-20 with a deep pass from Stafford to Demarcus Robinson for the dub. And then obviously on Thursday night, we saw a close one between the Jets and the Texans when the Jets won 21-13. Let's go. No worries. Ducks ended up, pulling out that victory. And I ended up having a little bit of help from Captain. So he ended up staying through the whole matchup for the Ducks in Michigan. So he stepped up while you were gone. And as long as we have at least one person out of the mods, step up with the duties each day, that's really all we need. And then if we have any other individuals that are mods that want to help out with the likes or the subs or, the donos on where we're at, in the stream, that would be greatly appreciated. But as long as we have one, that would be great. But I'm glad that you're feeling better. Did you get a chance to watch WWE Crown Jewel? I feel that this is the first PLE that Triple H has been in charge of that was kind of a letdown. We already knew that, some of these pay-per-views and PLEs that go overseas, if they're filler pay-per-views, in the past when Vince was running it, they would normally be like a 5 to a 7. And I think that's exactly what we ended up getting in yesterday's pay-per-view. There was a few matches that were interesting, and then a few matches that underwhelmed, and then a few that were meh. It wasn't really, that great. Now, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I would recommend watching it. I'll probably go back and watch it again because I obviously was trying to watch that as well as watch Ohio State and Penn State at the same time, since that started with Gus and Joel at 9 a.m. yesterday. But I think it was maybe the first pay-per-view that was really not up to standard. But anytime you have a filler pay-per-view, there always is going to be an opportunity of a little bit of a letdown. So, Hybrid in the building, what's good? Walltown in the building, what's good? Yeah, I mean, you got to blow it up. Any Saints fan that is actually still watching games, which is not very many. I know a lot of people have given up on that team already, not really wanting to watch anything, highlight-wise or even the games. And at some point, you can say Dennis Allen will be the guy that ends up getting the boot, but you need to kind of rebuild and retool that whole team. And then just when things feel like they're maybe getting a little bit better, then you have an injury to Olave, going to the hospital, getting checked out, flying home with the team. But it just seems like it's one thing after another. And like, it's not like the Buccaneers are running away with the NFC South. We're not going to go to the playoffs. You're not going to the playoffs, Walltown. The Panthers aren't fucking going. So Atlanta's going to take that spot by default as long as they don't have any injuries with Kirk Cousins or any of their star players. So I was really hoping for a 3-team race between the Falcons, Saints, and Bucks, and it looked like we were going to get that in the first 2 weeks, but you guys got hurt, I got hurt, no Mike Evans, no Godwin, no playoffs, and that's, as simple as that. So hopefully it'll work out. And hopefully, things will get better for the Saints in the future for you and the fan base. But it may take a couple years to get back on track. Not really sure if Carr is really the right quarterback for that team either. But again, the NFL is a business and not really going the way for a lot of us, regardless if it's in fantasy football, for our favorite college team or our favorite NFL team. When you have injuries or you just don't play up to your standard, sometimes, you get your heart ripped out a little bit. And obviously in the NFC West, Captain, it's one of those things, everyone is right there next to each other. The team that we thought that was the worst in the division now is in first place at the top with the Cardinals. Everyone kind of floating around 500. So obviously not ideal losing to a team like the Rams, but I kind of had a feeling that was going to be a trap game. I started Matthew Stafford in fantasy thinking that he could get to, 15 to 20 points. Now I could have also did Sam Darnold, which would have been the safe choice. The Stafford one was a little bit risky, and then Puka got ejected, for throwing the punch early on. Obviously a lot of shit talking back and forth with Seahawks players and Rams players. But anytime you end up playing a team with Sean McVay as the head coach, you already kind of know it's a trap game. And even if they don't have Aaron Donald there, it shows you they have enough to be able to win. And I don't know if a lot of Seahawks season ticket holders, are just not wanting to show up and support. But I've seen more season ticket holders in Seattle sell their tickets to opposing fans. And sometimes when you are there, or when you see it on TV, it looks like, there's more fans of the opposing team than normal. Like when we saw the Bills, and obviously, now with the Rams. Unfortunate loss. Hopefully things will get cleaned up. Geno didn't look very good. The offense didn't look very good in the first quarter, but then things turned around in the second quarter and things got much, much better. And that's what happens when you end up playing a rival in the division, just like when the Bucks, play the Falcons or the Saints. Sometimes you can take the record and throw it out the window because that those teams are so familiar with each other. And on any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, anything can happen. Tough one. But on the bright side, Captain, at least your Huskies won. It wasn't pretty. In the matchup, there was some fuck-ups in that game. USC kind of came storming back, but you guys ended up, getting the dub. And that's kind of how it goes sometimes in the NFL season. Toby in the building. What's good? I'm ready for this matchup. And this is this the first primetime game the Colts have had, Sarah, in 2024? I'm trying to remember if we've done the Colts yet or not. And if it is not the first, this has got to be the second game. I'm trying to go back and remember through the Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night schedule. I believe this is the first time that we're seeing the Colts, because normally I end up having, like my thumbnail prep, where I'm looking at images and whatnot. And obviously I would be using Jonathan Taylor or AR typically as a choice, but I was kind of going through. I believe this is the first primetime game. So hopefully you guys will play with some intensity, and hopefully that it will be a close game for you guys between the Colts and the Vikings. It is? Okay. Awesome. Well, I hope you start to feel a little bit better. We're going to have the Buccaneers and the Chiefs tomorrow. The Bucs will 100% lose. But again, as long as we don't get embarrassed, I hope that Baker keeps playing well, even though, his stat line isn't going to be as padded, when you have a Mike Evans and a Chris Godwin to throw to, then you're going to like McMillan and others. And so, obviously with McMillan and Shepard and Cade Otton, some of those guys will be able to, Rashad White, Bucky Irving will be able to take advantage. But it's just like, when you don't have your two best wide receivers, you saw what it was like with Matthew Stafford and the Rams with no Puka and Cooper Kupp. Not very good. Could barely get to 10 points in fantasy. But again, when you end up having your star receivers available, even though it was very, very briefly for Puka this week, it makes a huge difference, not only in fantasy terms, but in real life. And, I just hope that we don't get embarrassed tomorrow. I hope we keep it close, but I don't expect us, to make the playoffs. And plus, I wouldn't really want to hobble in with like a 9-8 record, kind of like the Eagles last year, play the Buccaneers, as you remember, and they just got absolutely obliterated when they started off the year like 9-0, 10-0, and then dropped like the last 6, 7, 8, 9 games, including the playoffs. So even if the Tampa were to get hot, I still, at this point, would rather go like, I don't know, 7-10 or whatever the hell, 8-9, miss the playoffs, try to be able to get a pass rusher or another offensive lineman, and then we'll figure it out from there. But we'll see where it goes here tonight. Yeah, and again, the defense isn't as good without McDonald going to Seattle, but obviously picking up Deontay Johnson, you guys are just going to try to outscore every opponent that you play, and most times that's going to work. Lamar looking like the best quarterback, Henry looking like the best running back, Zay looking like one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, very underrated, not really talked about. They finally have a number one quarterback, number one running back, number one wide receiver, and you got Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, even though they don't have the same role as they did a few years ago, where they would be scoring more points in fantasy weekly, as well as just being maybe utilized a little bit more. But again, the Ravens look very, very good up to this point. Yeah, I noticed on your fantasy there, it's going to come down to Zini and the Viking defense. So more than likely, you're going to end up winning, and this is probably one of your best weeks that you've ever had. And Allen with 22, Henry with 26, Dobbins with 24, Amon-Ra with 18, Neighbors with 15. Then you decided to go double tight ends, and when I saw that this morning, I didn't know if that was an error, you forgot to change it, or you knew something that I didn't. But Henry got 12.6, and Jasecki ended up getting his first 2 touchdowns of the year. I don't know what kind of ESP you have, but you definitely hit it on the head. Baltimore with a 9, and then Koo with a 3. So really, Koo is the only one that let you down a little, but for the amount of points that you got, pretty spectacular. And Zini right now is at 149. She's projected for 156. You obviously are done at 158. Can we just give both of you guys wins? I don't want to see anybody lose scoring 150 points. That's ridiculous, but that's what happens sometimes in fantasy. When you have 2 low teams like me and Sarah going at it, and we both suck. We're just trying to do the best that we can with the weapons that we have. And then sometimes, you'll have another team that's in the bottom 3 with us, like yourself, but you might end up beating a top 3 team this week. So again, it's going to be up to Sarah, myself, and as well as Megan to play spoiler a little bit. And you never know what might end up happening as the rest of the weeks go on. I mean, we don't have too many weeks to go. I think we have what do we have, like 6 weeks to go before the playoffs, week 14. So again, you never know what could happen. And if someone goes on a run and goes like 6-0 the rest of the way, or 5-1, there might end up being a little bit of a shakeup in the playoff picture as we get kind of towards the end of the playoff season. Tyree in the building. What's good? Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get 20 within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and we're going to be shooting for 100 in the donos on every single stream. Hand off to Jonathan Taylor. Short game. 2-yard gain for Jonathan. Let's go, baby. 3 more likes to get to 10. Let's get there, baby. Second down and 7 on the Indy 33. Taylor on 2nd and 7. Hand off to Taylor. There we go. Just short of the first down marker. Gain of about 6 yards. 3rd down and 1. Yeah, sometimes we end up having good owners and sometimes we don't, and again, it's just going to be pretty much a shit show for the Panthers, Saints, and Bucks. There's nothing we can do, besides watch the games and support our team if you're, willing to do that. 3rd down and 1. Flacco going long, going deep, got a man. 1st down, Colts. Move the chains, and you're going to be able to see a lot of balls in the air with Joe Flacco. Like, again, if they would have started Joe Flacco at the beginning of the year, maybe their record right now is 6-2, or 5-3. I definitely think they would have at least 1 or 2 more wins, maybe even 3 if they had Flacco starting right from the very start. And again, sometimes you got to go through the growing pains and realize that a guy isn't ready. And again, if you have the most capable backup in the NFL, the best backup in the NFL, a guy that could quarterback for half of the teams in the league right now, 16 out of the 32, maybe more than that, maybe 20 out of 32 or 24 out of 32, Flacco could be quarterbacking for, not just as a backup role, but as a starter. He's that good, even at 39. I would take him on the Buccaneers in a heartbeat, I'll tell you that. Not necessarily over Baker right now, but if Baker got hurt, I would love to have a Joe Flacco come in. And sometimes you just got to be able to understand who gives you the best chance to win, right? And the Colts are still in the mix of trying to make the playoffs at a 500 record. Fumble! Oh, Jonathan Taylor, what did you do? And they turn it over. Oh, my. Yeah, I think Sirianni needs to go. I don't think that's a really, it's kind of like worn out its welcome, but as long as you guys keep winning games and making the playoffs with you and the Commandos, he probably won't get fired, so unfortunately. But at least you got a guy like Saquon, jumping backwards and hurtling people. We get to see things in the NFL with Saquon Barkley that we haven't been able to see with anybody else. So, fly, Eagles, fly, my guy. And again, the Commandos are pretty much taking the Cowboys' spot. Normally it's between 2 teams. We know the Giants are no good. The Cowboys are no good. And finally, there's nothing that you can say. Whether the people that love Dak or, the defense isn't as good as it normally is. The offensive line isn't as good as it normally is. The running game is terrible. It's like dead last. And Dak is getting exposed. He used to get kind of, some of those problems kind of got swept under the rug because the O-line was good, or the running game was good with Zeke and Pollard, or you had a good defense with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, being able to get the sack lunches. But when you don't have all those things going for you, you get exposed, and you start to realize that maybe they made a mistake by overpaying Dak because he ain't it. But who is it? Jaden Daniels. And I really like what I'm seeing out of the Commandos, and it shows you if you get the right head coach and you got the right quarterback at the right time, this is the best record, right? The best record, 7-2, that the Commandos have had in almost 30 years to start off 7-2. So they definitely hit it right on the head with the right head coach, and definitely with the Lamar Jackson of the NFC. Stop playing with me. I kept telling you guys after the first couple games, that Jaden was the man and he is the guy. And you're starting to see it on a consistent basis week in and week out. And, you're starting to see that this rookie quarterback class is probably the best that we've had in the last 5 to 10 years. Jaden Daniels looks like he's going to end up being a top 10, top 12 quarterback. Hell, even Bo Nix looks like, even though that team struggles, he makes NFL throws, and he's much better than I think people were anticipating. Catching the ball for a touchdown today, running the ball, throwing the ball. Denver doesn't really have a whole lot of weapons on the O-line or running back or tight end or wide receivers, but once they get better weapons, you're going to see Bo Nix take his game to another level, right? And we still don't know about Michael Penix Jr. and J.J. McCarthy. That's kind of a wait and see. And even Drake May at times is making some plays here and there, and if you go back and look at some of those other previous drafts, Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and Mac Jones, I would say that this quarterback class is way more entertaining, and it looks like some of these guys are going to stick. And we might have a couple guys that are going to be top 16 quarterbacks moving forward. First down and 10. Oliver there. We're going to see our first looks of TJ Hawkinson, as Sarah mentioned. Yeah, I think that you guys need more leadership. I feel with Sirianni, he's immature. You need more of an Andy Reid type of guy, like a grandpa, an older guy, but not so old where he's senile, and doesn't know what's going on, but someone that's respected, that might be a little bit older. But unless you can end up getting a younger guy that's, like a Sean McVay type, or a Kyle Shanahan type, but those aren't really floating around that often. So I'm not sure if I would say the Jags would be good, but they would be better than they are right now. I would give you that. Aaron Jones. Nice run. First down, Vikings. I don't know with Dougie P. I think it's a combination of things that need to be improved. Possibly another coach, but realistically, Dougie P and Sirianni will probably keep their jobs. Drafting a little bit better, a little unlucky with some of the injuries, maybe trying to be able to get some other individuals that come through. Obviously, it sounded like Christian Kirk was on his way to the Pittsburgh Steelers before he ended up, breaking his collarbone or whatnot. So I don't know, man. I think there's just, quite a few things that need to be improved, obviously, with the Jags. There's Hawkinson with his first grab. The crowd cheers for Hawk. Darnold. Powell with the catch. First down, Vikings. Yeah, but plus also too, Toby, you were the worst team in the NFL for a couple of years, and then you got better. So it's just about, being consistent. And when you're ending, up being at the bottom, sometimes you're not going to be able to be a consistent team, every single year after that. You might have one good year after being bad for 2 years, where you're good. And then you might be dog shit the next year and then good the next year. It's just about finding that right combination of players and coaches and whatnot. So I definitely think, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you could always upgrade those if you're not going to let go of Dougie P. There's always ways to make the team better, moving forward. But obviously having the right coaches and the right draft picks definitely helps. And if you can get a couple free agents that come over and play well and don't get hurt, that could also be a bonus. And that's for not only the Jags, but for any team. Second down and 9, Darnold, hands off. Jones, good tackle there by the Colts. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Two more likes to get to 10. Let's get there. Shotgun set. 3rd down and 6. Darnold. Addison. 1st down, Vikings. This could end up potentially being a little bit of a shootout. I assume that we're going to get some field goals tonight. But again, with the way that, Flacco and Darnold sling it, we might be able to get both teams over 20. That would be obviously a plus, because sometimes when we watch these games on Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night, they kind of underwhelm. But I like this matchup. You got Jetta, you got Addison, you got Hawk in his first game, back. Darnold has been playing very well this year, right? They got the Jags next week, so I'll be starting Darnold at quarterback, hoping that he'll end up getting me 20 to 30 points against that Jags D. And then obviously with Joe Flacco, everyone else becomes a bigger weapon, especially the receivers like Downs and Pittman and Pierce, when they have a guy that's capable of throwing them the ball. Penalty there on the Colts. Automatic 1st down, defensive holding on Brian. Matt in the building. Go Ducks. Sounds like Tez might be out for the year. Sounds like either a broken collarbone or some kind of shoulder separation. I know there's going to be more information coming out, but he's in a sling now. So it sounds like we won't get him back for the rest of the year, or maybe he'll be healed enough by the time we start the college football playoff. But if he's out for the year, we still got Evan Stewart, and he's capable of being our one. So I don't think that takes our chances of winning the Natty or getting to the Natty. I don't think it ruins it, but it definitely is going to make it a little bit harder if Tez is out for the year. Unfortunate. But luckily, we have others that, possibly could step up, next man up role. And, even though Tez is the number one, Evan isn't too far behind. And then we have a couple others underneath him that could step up in the wide receiver 2 role and 3 role if need be. And we got tight ends that we can go to as well, and running back. So we can always adjust our strategy, game in and game out. Yeah, and one of our offensive linemen got hurt yesterday too, and that was probably more serious than even the Tez Johnson injury. So, yeah, I know. So we just have to hope for the best on our offensive line and with our receiver, and hope that everyone is not seriously hurt, that we can still, maintain. Darnold, pressured, intercepted. Naylor, nice job. Good awareness by Naylor and Sam Darnold. I was going to possibly consider, starting you in this matchup, but again, something told me, that I thought that the Matthew Stafford matchup had a better chance of getting to 20 points than Darnold tonight. Now I can start Darnold next week because Stafford's got a really tough matchup with like a red 1. So I'm going to start you next week, but not the way that the Vikings fan wanted to start off with Darnold here in the first quarter. Nice pick, Sarah, by your Colts. Absolutely. It's super fun to watch, again, in fantasy football. I mean, I wish I could have had a chance, to grab like a Lamar or a Josh Allen or a Jalen Hurts. Those would have been my, top 3 choices. Just wasn't able to, get any of those guys. But, if I would have been smart and, not taking a risk with AR, and now if AR would have been healthy and playing great, I probably would be in a great position right now. But I probably should have, took Joe Burrow, since Burrow is playing like a top 5 quarterback this year, and that would have probably gave me at least 2 or 3 more wins than I have right now. But, we'll see on how everything kind of plays out here today. Yeah, but again, when you end up losing, Harbaugh, a lot of recruits left, right? So you can't expect, just because you guys are in the big house and, we're not playing 100 years of Michigan history and their football. We're playing the Michigan Wolverines of 2024, and they're just not on the same level, as the Ducks. But again, not every year is going to be the Ducks' year. There's going to be years where we don't even finish in the top 2 in the Big Ten, and I get that. But as long as we have Dan Lanning and he stays and we don't have any major injuries, we should be a top 2, top 3 team every year in the Big Ten, with Ohio State and then possibly Penn State or someone else that rises to the occasion. But, maybe this is our special year. I don't really know. Kind of feels like the college football natty is up for grabs, and hopefully we can stay injury-free as much as possible the rest of the way. Yeah, and I noticed a lot of y'all ended up running with double tight ends this week, which was a little head-scratching for me. But I guess if you're Megan and you do it and it works, then you look like a genius. You get 12.6 and you get 27 out of Gesicki. But I've noticed some of y'all have been running those double tight ends. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, you got to be able to, you know, take a risk once in a while. But sometimes it works and you get both guys that hit over 10. And sometimes you run double tight ends and you only get one that hits and the other one doesn't. So. Yeah. Also, too, you left your you didn't change your lineup. You got either busy or you forgot. But when you had 2 zeros in the lineup, I knew you were going to lose, and you ended up changing one by the time the morning game started. But it was already too late by that point. And even Shep ended up having a 0. He didn't check his lineup and thought Robinson was playing. And I saw Eckler on the wire this morning, projected for 18. So I grabbed him and started him. And I think if Shep would have done that, that might have been the difference with him beating Reflect this week for the very first time, and having Reflect possibly get his first loss. But, you know, you snooze, you lose, right? And if you're not going to be on top of the wire and, you know, someone else is, you got to make sure that you're paying attention to your lineup the best that you can, because if you end up having a 0 with a guy being injured and you end up not replacing him, hard to win when that happens. Or if a guy gets hurt during the game, which obviously happened for a few of y'all, and normally happens to me every week. Josh Downs, let's go, baby. Yeah, but you can still be focused about Oregon and the Broncos and take a quick peek at your lineup. You know, obviously, you know, everyone's going to have a different... You know, I wish you would have done that against me and forgot and got lazy and didn't give a shit about your fantasy team playing me a couple weeks ago. I could have used the win, you know. But again, it happens, you know. Again, you either don't have it as a priority and you look too late, and sometimes shit happens that way. Pass incomplete. Yeah. The Gesicki thing was kind of risky, though, because he hadn't even scored a touchdown up to that point, and then he ended up scoring 2, which is insane. Like, we don't even get normal tight ends scoring 1 touchdown normally, and for him to get his first 2 touchdowns of the season, you know, whether that was just luck or you were going to swap and didn't, you know, but it worked. And no matter, you know what way the strategy went, you know, you left it in too long, you forgot to switch, or it was planned, it works for you, and congratulations. Monster week. And obviously the best week you probably have ever had in fantasy. And more than likely, I think you're going to end up winning. But sometimes you can have dumb luck, you know, where you end up, you know, forgetting, you know, and you have, you know, guys left there from the previous week, or you just say, fuck it, give it a shot, who cares? And, you know, but I don't think I've ever seen a number that big out of someone that, you know, I mean, he's the 25th ranked tight end, you know, so it's not like he, you know, but last week he did put up a 12. So, you know, but you ended up picking the right game to start him. 5 receptions out of 6 targets, 100 yards, 2 tutties. And that single-handedly, that move alone will probably help you win today. You're at 158. And again, Minnesota, she's got 12 points on defense now, but if the Colts start scoring, then that'll go down. But it looks like it's going to come down to the wire between, obviously, you and Zini. Can we just give both of you guys wins? 158 points in fantasy or more, and we're going to have a loser out of that. That doesn't seem like fair at all, but that's how it goes sometimes. And it looks like Shep is going to maybe barely lose unless Jetta has a monster game. It's tough. Yeah. There you go. You got busy, and in some cases, running double tight ends, and you got too busy and forgot. Sometimes that will lead to a 0 or like a 2. But in your case, it ended up working out in your favor. The sports gods must love you this week. So. Yeah, and not only, you're not going to be able to, there's no way in hell yet you're going to be able to go backwards, because based off the knowledge and the information that you're going to be able to get, not only on this channel, but also with Brandon over there. And as long as you're not picking every single Seattle Seahawks player and starting them, then you're not going to have the same kind of bad results that you had last year. You can have some players on your favorite team, on your fantasy team. You just can't have everyone. And I think you realize that. And again, you've been, doing very, very well, considered from, last year. Hell, you've scored more points than even me this year. I haven't scored that many this year. So you've actually done things that, more than half of the league haven't been able to do. More than half of the league hasn't even scored over 150 yet. So, hopefully it ends up leading into a dub, but it's going to come down to the wire between you and obviously Zini. And again, you never can count out teams at the bottom like me, Sarah, and Megan. We might be eliminated from the playoffs, but we're going to still try to win the best that we can with what we have to work with. And sometimes we're going to get our ass kicked and we're going to get blown out by 60. And sometimes we're going to compete and we're going to end up stealing some wins, from people at the top of the board. So. Yeah, but again, obviously with him on your roster in this league, it didn't really hurt you that bad with all the other great numbers that you put up. So, I mean, having one position out of 9 kind of not do that well, but then the other 8 like killing it, I would take that trade in a heartbeat. So. I mean, I'm hoping before the season ends that I can have a 150 to 200 point game. But, once I get Christian McCaffrey and Cooper Kupp both available to play, that's when I will. I'll be able to hit 140 to 200 more than likely, as long as McCaffrey isn't hurt and puts up 20, 25 points, 30 points. I know I can get 20 out of Cooper Kupp. And it's actually kind of starting to be somewhat fun for me. It wasn't really fun not being able to use my top 2 pieces all year, but, finally, it's almost too little too late, but at least I'll be able to have fun the rest of the way. Yeah, she went heavy Bengals too, because she's got Chase Brown, right? She's got Jamar Chase and Burrow. So when the Bengals win and win big, she's going to win big in fantasy, right? But when they do bad, that's when she's going to lose. I play her next week, and they got the Ravens. So hopefully the stat line will be a little bit lower for her, and I'll be able to make it a good competitive matchup in fantasy next week. It always works good when you play a shit team like the Raiders and you can put up monster points, but we know the Ravens D isn't really as good as it was last year and the year before, but just the way that the Ravens have been playing, with offensively, maybe they'll keep the ball out of the Bengals' hands a little bit, and maybe I can give her a challenge like you did this week. First down and 10, little halfback toss. Aaron Jones towards the sideline, gain of a couple. I got Paisley wrapped up like a little burrito behind me, laying down on the pillow. She's comfy. Second down and 9. Shotgun set. Little screen pass. Nice tackle by the Colts on Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. Stewart, look at that hair. You love that, Sarah? You love that hair? That hair is flowing. Get him a Head and Shoulders commercial with Troy Polamalu. Look at that speed. and using both arms to wrap up. You know, he's not going to take a chance on it. He's going to wrap up and pull you down. Not a hip drop tackle, but a legal one. Nice job. 3rd down and 17. Shotgun set. Darnold, pressure. Hawkinson. Ball came out, but right back into Hawk's hands. Good thing he didn't fumble. Good defense. Looks like the defenses are actually stepping up a little bit more than normal in this matchup. Might end up being a little bit lower scoring of a game than we originally thought. Allen in the building. What's good? Right, punts 44 yards to the end zone there. Touchback for Ryan Wright. First down and 10. Short gain for Jonathan Taylor. End of the first quarter. 0-0 Colts and Vikings. Yeah, they're bad, bro. You know, they got a lot of, in years past, the offensive line, was good. The defense was good. The running game was good. But now, Dak is getting exposed. The coaching isn't good. The offensive line isn't good. You guys are like dead last in the running game. Defense isn't good either, and normally it is. So, you can't expect Dak to be, a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. It's like you still got CeeDee Lamb, and there's some weapons there. But again, you're going to be in the same boat with me and a bunch of other teams, where we're not going to the playoffs. The Commandos and the Eagles are going to go to the playoffs. The Cowboys are going to scale back, and maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise if you can end up getting a running back like a Genti in the draft. You guys are going to need a running back. You need offensive line. You need defense. Obviously, probably need to get a different quarterback than Dak and a different owner than Jerry and a different head coach than Mike. But, you're not going to be able to change everything in a year or two. So, but hopefully things will get, better next year. But it sucks when you have a favorite team and they're underperforming. So, yeah. There's been a lot of injuries this season. All right, we're at 10. We need 10 more likes to get to 20. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we're at 11. 9 more to go to hit 20. Let's go, baby. Cool kid in the building. What's good? Yeah, and it definitely looks like this is going to be the worst Cowboy team in like the last 10 years. And maybe that'll be a good thing. Maybe McCarthy will get fired because of it. Maybe you guys will get Genti in the draft. Maybe you guys will get some offensive linemen or some better defensive players. There definitely needs to be a shakeup, and the Commandos hit it right in the head with Quinn and Jaden Daniels. The Cowboys need something like that to be able to change this franchise around. So. Still waiting on the first dono on the dono train. And we got me and Sarah going at it in fantasy. Chief will chief against Matt. Then you got Elliot and Captain Oreo. And I know me, Captain Oreo, and Sarah were at the very, very bottom. And nice to be able to see you score points. It's like, when you're a team that, has talent and is making moves and it's trying, and then you just end up going against people that give you their top game. It's hard to be able to get rhythm when guys get hurt or guys play bad, but you're starting to kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm now, and you're scoring points. So congratulations there. And then we got a close one between Shep and Reflect, which may come down to just a couple points, depending on if Jeddah has a monster game. And then we have to see what happens with Reichard and Kansas City defense for Reflect. Couple close ones, couple blowouts. Well, I wish you would have made that decision, Matt, playing against me a couple weeks ago and just gave up then. That way I could have gotten a free dub and moved my team up the starting lineup and up the win chart. But I got everyone's A+ effort this year. Hard to be able to be in the top 3 when I got in the second most points scored against me out of anybody in the entire fucking league. But, I still feel pretty good that, I could give up, but I'm not that type of person. So I'm going to try my best to see how I can finish this season and see if I can finish strong. And again, you're going to have, Reflect and Shep and Zini more than likely for the 3 spots in the playoffs, but that last spot is open. Is it going to be Matt? Is it going to be Elliot? Is it going to be Chief? Will it be, will it be Captain? We'll find out. I wish you would have. I wish you would have quit a couple weeks ago so I would have got that dub instead of giving me your A fucking effort. Anytime you end up leaving zeros during a regular season game, you don't deserve to win, and obviously that goes for Shep too. He had a 0 with Robinson. You can't just, leave a lineup with a 0 in there. You have to make that change. It takes 1 second to make a substitution or grab someone from the wire. No excuse. First down and 10. First down, Vikings. Man in motion. Handoff. Akers, gain of 4.
The people on the team, the coaches, and the neighboring communities. He's just had a really nice, comfortable stadium that they have been facing. I think we're finally seeing it.
Pass short to Akers for no gain. And I'm going to need to see a better version of Sam Darnold next week if I'm going to start him against that Jags defense. Obviously, we know Jags defense can't stop a nosebleed, and almost anybody that's played the Jag defense gets 20 to 30 points in fantasy, but obviously we know the Colts defense is a little bit more stingy. And Minnesota's defense obviously is normally, a top, especially this year. They've been top 10 all year, but for a majority of the year, they've been in the top 3. Shotgun set. Darnold. Right at the marker. First down, Vikings. TJ Hawkinson, but that's coming back to an offensive hold to Robinson. Uh-oh. That's tough. Yeah, because I think the loss against you, that was my breaking point, because I actually had a pretty good week and I still couldn't end up getting the dub. But, it's not like we have a lot of people that are scoring 150 to 200 every week. It's still pretty rare. Right now, kind of the sweet spot for most people is about 125 points. So I feel like scoring overall is a lot lower than normal, week in and week out. Jetta. Back to Aaron Jones. Trick play. First down, Vikings. With a little bit of trickery. Damn, I'm at 155 moves. Is that a lot? It's a lot of fucking moves. Hopefully we can get some points on the board here. Defense has been, I knew the defense was going to show up for both of these teams, but with the offensive firepower that, we know that these teams have, I figured that we would open it up a little bit. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Scoop. And a score. Touchdown, Colts. But that might be coming back. Flag on the play. Wow. Colts are flying around. Good thing I didn't start Sam Darnold in this game. And I just picked him up, late just for next week, because usually I try to be able to look ahead in the schedule, and I try to pick up someone right before the game start at 10 a.m. Wow, they gave him the tutty? Whoa. Grover Stewart. Recovered by Moore. Wow. Colts defense getting the points. Nice job, Sarah. Your first primetime game, and you're making a team like the Minnesota Vikings not look very good. Wow. Wow. And you know how much I love defense. Whoa. A fumble for a touchdown? I mean, that's like music to my ears. The only thing better than a fumble for a touchdown is a pick six for a touchdown, or a punt return or kick return for a touchdown in my book. Wow. Okay, extra point is up and good. Yeah. Well, I think if you wouldn't have gotten mad after dropping Devontae and then me picking him up and starting him and he actually starting to have a good game, and then you gave up and didn't make your adjustments to your receivers that were hurt, right? Which you should have. And then you didn't even put Gibbs in. Like, even with all that bad shit that happened, if you would have just put in, receivers and put Gibbs in, you might have won this week, And that's why, even when things look bad, or when you drop someone and someone else picks them up and they do well, it's fantasy. There's plenty of people that will grab a guy or have a guy rostered all year or draft a guy. They suck. You let them go. And then eventually someone else picks them up. They play them and then they play well. It's just a part of the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So, but for someone that has the record of you, I wouldn't be giving up. You're right there, in potential, you could be, in that spot for possibly the last spot in the playoffs. You got Reflect, you got Shep, you got Zini, and you got Elliott. 8-0, 6-2, 5-3, and 5-3. And then you got Matt right there at 4-4, Captain at 3-5, Chief at 3-5, and then we got Megan, myself, and Sarah at 2-6. So, with 6 games to go, if you end up going undefeated and you end up getting to 8-6, for Sarah or me or Megan, that could be enough to get that last spot. Not saying that any of the three of us are going to go 6-0 the last 6 games, but a lot can change, within a few weeks, especially when we have a lot of teams that are at 2, 3, and 4 wins. And even the teams that are at 5, they look like they're going to lose. So if they drop down to 5-4, there's going to be opportunities for some of y'all to be able to get it done. So. You never know how things can go. And it's all about matchups, Like if Shep would have checked the lineup and then noticed that Robinson was injured with the hammy, grabbed Eckler and then started him, he would have beaten Reflect for, obviously Reflect's first loss. But again, anytime I end up, being on the app, all the time, probably hours on end, You know, you got to be able to lock and load. And you know, you snooze, you lose. If you don't check, you might miss out. And that's exactly what happened, because that could have been a big win for Shep, and obviously not a devastating loss for Reflect. I don't think he thinks he's going to go undefeated, but he's definitely the best team in the league right now. And you know, finding a way to win any way that you possibly can, even if it's only by a couple. You know, but also Shep had some bad luck with Dak Prescott getting hurt and then having a 0 with Robinson. That doesn't make it ideal, but again, you live and you learn. Yeah, you're projected for 143. You got Baker, Kelsey, and Otten, another individual that went double tight end. You, Matt, and Megan all went. Now, if it was National Tight Ends Day, I'd be like, all right, you guys are killing it. You guys are listening. You guys are on it. But it's not National Tight Ends Day. So, like, some of y'all just left it in there from last week and said, fuck it. And, you know, hell, if it works, it works. But it looks like it worked for Megan. It only worked for one piece for Matt. And we'll find out if it works out for both of your pieces tomorrow. Aaron Jones with a short game. But Kelsey and Otten, that's a pretty good combo to do it, you know, because obviously we know Evans and Godwin are out. So who's going to get the fucking looks? Shepard, right? Jalen McMillan and Cade Otten and Rashad White and Bucky Irving. So actually going that strategy for the Buccaneers, since we don't really have a lot of weapons, you know, there is a possibility that Cade could actually put up some decent numbers tomorrow. Hell, he might score once or twice tomorrow. Wouldn't shock me. Kind of just depends on the game plan, you know, that they have with the roster. Darnold. Oliver, first down, Vikings. But I think that's what happened, that the three of you guys had National Tight Ends Day, and I think you guys, you know, had them in there and then maybe just left them. And then, you know, we got into our games, and I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Because if you do it on any week that's not National Tight Ends Day, it is a risk, you know, especially if you got running backs and wide receivers that could put up, you know, 10, 15, 20 points. And if those are on your bench and then the tight end ends up getting you like 3, you know, you might end up losing. Darnold. But I'm definitely proud of a lot of y'all in the league. You guys have, you know, been competitive. You know, again, sometimes we make mistakes, including myself. You know, no one's going to be perfect. And again, it's very, very competitive, and we'll see how it all plays out. 7-0 Colts. I mean, I don't want to have people in the league if they're not going to try, you know, and it's one thing if you're, you know, the thing is that what's a little silly though, is that you're like in 4th or 5th place and you quit. You know, most people quit when they're in last place and there's no chance for the playoffs. I've never heard of someone quitting, you know, halfway through the year and not caring. And if it was like that, you should have told me and not did the league this year. We could have had someone else that actually tried throughout the whole year, regardless of record. But I've never seen someone quit when they've been in 4th place or 5th place. Judah in the building. What's good? What's good, bro? How are you? Yeah, beast. Appreciate you, Captain. Finally, we get something going within the first hour. Thank you. $5 holla. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. We're at 5:95 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Appreciate you, Captain. And we'll get some Colt photos for Sarah here in a moment. And then What players do you want, Sarah? Type it into the chat, and I got you. Little QB sneak on 4th and inches. First down, Vikings. But the Colts defense is so stifling, we haven't really been able to see any of their star players break out. We haven't seen Jetta, or Addison or Hawk or Aaron Jones really be able to get loose yet. And Darnold is being pressured so much, he doesn't really have a whole lot of time to go through his progression. So,
yeah, very much in line with that mold of Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. As a matter of fact, Sean McVay was one of the first ones I saw.
that's why the NFL is so wild. Like, no matter what we think is going to happen in the game, we don't know. We have an idea, a game plan in our head on how the flow of the game could go. But until the game actually is played, you have no idea how it's going to play out. Like I imagine a lot of us probably thought that this was going to be, the defenses would make plays, but it would be like a, 27-24 kind of game. It kind of felt like it had that possibility with all these stars that are out there, but we're not really able to get a lot of these guys going just yet. Hopefully in the second half, it'll be a little bit better. Grover Stewart. Okay, I got you. Nice 7 tackles for loss for Grover. Shotgun set. Darnold. Speed with the catch. And if you have star players in this particular matchup, you're probably a little frustrated. I know Sarah's got a few. I got some. I know Reflex got the Vikings kicker and whatnot. So it's like 7-0, and then the 7 wasn't even fucking on offense. It was on defense. So it's not like it was a Jonathan Taylor touchdown or, a Downs touchdown or a Pittman or a Pierce. But hopefully we'll get something in the second half. And complete. Yes. I'm not quitting no matter what. And again, I'm going to try to do my best to go 6-0 in these last 6 games and try to get that last spot and try to go 8-6 and be 4th place when it's all said and done. But yeah, I'm gonna retire. Maybe down the road, like I can always do a fantasy league for the channel and just not be a part of it. Field goal, no good. Wow, Reichard, no fantasy points for Reflect. That's rough. But maybe after a few years pass, then maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I'll, reconsider and change my mind. But, it sounds like if I don't do it, that at least half of the people that are in it this year aren't going to do it either. Maybe they'll do it, with their families or, with their friends and whatnot. But, I only end up doing 1 league per year anyways, so because I give my all to what I do. So but maybe after a couple years pass, after maybe doing a league for the channel and not being a part of it, or just not doing a actual league at all, and then maybe I'll end up missing it, and then down the road maybe we'll do one again. So but I think a big part of people doing the league is people wanting to beat me, especially me being in the top 3 every fucking year. And, I get it. It's like, when you're going against someone like Reflect, how good they are. It's going to be tough to be able to win, but it definitely brings out your A game, knowing when you're going to be going against some really good quality opponents and whatnot. But, but it sounds like, at least half of the people that are a part of the league this year aren't going to participate if I don't do it. So, we'll cross that bridge, down the road and whatnot. So, yeah, if you do miss, you get a negative. So he's at -1 right now with the missed kick. Correct. All right, I'm going to try to get a couple photos up here. There's your boy. We're at 5:95 to go.
Saturday, couple big primetime college football matchups. And the Irish in primetime on NBC trying to work their way into the playoffs, taking on Florida State. Big Ten Saturdays over on Peacock with Penn State taking on Washington. All Saturday for you. Let's take over Grove 43. Flacco.
Incomplete.
So Flacco's the guy now because Anthony Richardson was benched after last week. Took the ball to see it off his arms. They went down. It was the top number one story in the league. See what Flacco gives with talk here in the series about what Richardson has going forward. Young player, second year.
Yeah, Kling Kong, our center from UConn is awesome to watch. We still don't have Shaden Sharp, but we're more competitive. There we go. First down, Colts. But we're more competitive than we were last year. We're still one of the bottom 5 teams in the NBA, but we're extremely young. We're the second youngest team in the NBA overall. So, it's not going to be easy, this year. It's going to be very difficult. There's going to be a lot of blowouts, which there typically is in the NBA anyways. But I have been watching the games, and it's a little bit easier to watch this year than last year's team. And again, I do like our draft pick, Klingen, the big UConn center. He can get rebounds and blocks, and he's exciting. So once we can get Shaden Sharp with him, right, and we have Kling Kong, Shaden Sharp, Scoot, and then we have obviously Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons, but Simons ended up going for like a dunk and getting hurt. So the team is young, but they're fun. But again, they're not going to really go to the playoffs or do anything. But at least they're watchable, which was something that was probably not so much last year. So, but I do watch every game. Again, you're going to be able to see the receivers open it up here. There we go. Pierce. First down, Colts. Move the chains. I'm ready for a Downs touchdown. Hello, Downs? Are we time? Is it a time for a Downs touchdown? There we go. Flag on the play. Yeah, well, Richardson had the lowest percentage out of any quarterback in the NFL for like open targets. It was like the worst, like 20%. So if you got a guy that has guys open and he can only convert it 20% of the time, which is like much, much lower than any other quarterback in the NFL, then, and you got a really good backup that could start on half of the teams in the NFL right now, if not, half or a third, at least 12 to 20 teams out of 32 could use a Flacco, and every team could use a Flacco on the bench as a backup. But as far as a starter, I think Flacco is better than half of the starters that we're looking at this year. He's got a lot of potential. Super Bowl winner. He's accurate. He's a leader. He doesn't get flustered. And he will make an occasional mistake, for an interception or a fumble. But the difference between him and AR is he can respond back and get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 touchdowns in return. And AR can't. AR might be able to get one with his legs, but how many interceptions do you have by the time you get the score with your legs, and you got to be able to get those weapons to football. And if you think about it, all of the weapons on the Colts in fantasy were useless when AR was quarterback. Pass incomplete. But at least when you have Flacco out there, everyone has value. You know, if Pittman is healthy, he could get to 20. If Alec Pierce is out there, he could get to 20 with a couple deep balls. If Downs is out there, he could get to 20. So, you know, Flacco can sling it, and hopefully, you know, this will give some time for him to learn under Flacco, you know. And who knows, AR might be, you know, a guy, you know, for the Colts in the future, or they may have to replace him and find someone else down the road. But at least they have the benefit of having someone like Flacco at quarterback. I'm a little jealous. I wish I had a Flacco. Cal Raleigh, good for him. He deserved it. I mean, he's already the best catcher in baseball just because he's got a batting average that's like 200 to 220, but he leads every other category defensively, home runs, you know, it's like, how many categories do you need to lead before people start recognizing that he's the truth? So, and hopefully Cal will stay with the Mariners for life. I will be absolutely crushed if he ends up leaving or the Mariners don't give him the money that he deserves. He's more deserving of money than Julio. He's more deserving than any pitcher that we have on the pitching staff. Like, he's the reason why our pitching staff is as good as they are. Like, Cal is the best player on the team. You know, it's like, yeah, we got Kirby and we got Gilbert and, you know, Woo and, you know, we got a lot of these nice guys, you know, obviously for our starters, and, you know, Julio is always going to be popular, you know, but who's the most important day in and day out? It's Cal, you know, and it's no doubt. So hopefully, you know, he'll be able to go to, you know, some all-star games. Hopefully we'll be able to make the playoffs and get some pub. And hopefully he'll finally get the recognition that he is one of the top 2, top 3 overall catchers. And honestly, you know, if you look at Adley Rutschman and a lot of the other catchers, Cal's stats are better. The only thing that he lacks is batting average, but other than that, he's better defensively. He hits more home runs than any other catcher. He's more clutch. You know, I would rather have a guy batting 200 to 220, but to be the best defensive catcher, a leader, and hit the most home runs and get the most RBIs, than get a guy that's batting 300 but doesn't have nearly as many home runs, RBIs, or is as good as a catcher defensively. And that's pretty much every other catcher that's out there. So 7-0 Colts. I need a Downs touchdown, baby.
Drop into 2025 with confidence in a vehicle designed to turn heads inside and out. During Mitsubishi's year-end sales event, drive home a 2024 SUV with 0.99% APR. Get ready for a new year of adventure.
This is what Geico does for your rates won't increase with your first.
Yes.
Oh, Geico offers us 24/7 emergency roadside service. Category 2.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
Gay field goal, no good. This game is nuts. I don't think I anticipated this game being a 7-0 with all these defensive plays, and you know, both defenses are taking over the game. Like, the offensive weapons have not been able to get in any kind of rhythm. So you had Reichard miss one, and now Gay miss one. Unbelievable. And we haven't got any offensive touchdowns yet, and the only touchdown is from the Colts defense. Unbelievable. I don't think anyone would have predicted that. It's not very good for all our fantasy numbers that we were all hoping for today. I mean, even with all the mistakes, you know that the second half is going to be better, and we'll see what happens, in the second half. But again, we got Bucks and Chiefs tomorrow, which could be a little bit of a defensive battle at one point or another. But Chiefs will probably slow down Baker, and Baker will throw for a couple touchdowns, throw for a couple picks as well. But I would assume that we will have more points on the board tomorrow for Monday night than this. But you never know. The NFL is unpredictable. This would be a monster win for the Colts. I mean, with all things considered. I mean, if Vikings lose, it doesn't matter. They go down to 5-3. Obviously it gives you concerns with like Sam Darnold, even though he's 14 for 17, but he's got to pick. You got to play much better if I'm going to start you in fantasy next week against Zini against the Jag defense. So I know the Darnold can, play better, but it's like you got the best wide receiver on the planet and Justin Jefferson. You got to get him the ball. Shotgun set. Darnold. There it is. First down, Jets. Jay Jetta. Here we go. Maybe they tie the game up now. It feels like the momentum is shifting. You just keep going to Jetta, and then eventually it could go to Hawkinson or Addison because all the coverage will be on Jetta here. Or maybe they'll end up giving it to Aaron Jones. They can get him into the flat, or they can use him to run the ball. We'll see what weapon Minnesota decides to use first here. Jones, Jetta, Addison, or Hawkinson. Somebody's getting the ball. Or it might end up being one of those no-name other guys that ends up getting the ball. Could happen there too. Oh, yeah. Well, our secondary and our defense is, our defense is not good right now. And again, Kirk Cousins obliterated it. I mean, Mahomes will probably end up getting a couple touchdown passes tomorrow. I don't think he'll get 3, but I think he'll get 2. Maybe one to Kelsey, and we'll figure out where the other one goes to. But I think that we could get a pick or 2 off of Mahomes tomorrow as well, though. And hopefully Antoine Winfield Jr. or Levante David or someone can make a play to keep it close. Aaron Jones with the short gain. It would be kind of hilarious with no Mike Evans and no Chris Godwin, and we're the team that beats the Chiefs. We're all beat up and injured, and we're all kind of down on ourselves a little bit, and it would be kind of, I mean, that's the NFL though, right? You just never know what might happen. So, but it would definitely be surprising. But it's not like the Chiefs have been blowing people out. They've been barely winning. So. But it might be, a similar stat line, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks for Baker and Pat tomorrow. Darnold, big sack lunch. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Hi, Brett. How are you? Yeah, great defense by the Colts. I mean, I'm not used to seeing Sam Darnold look like this. This almost reminds me of Sam Darnold like on the Jets. But we obviously know he's in a better place mentally and physically. But the defense has been very, very good for both teams. More surprisingly for the Colts on the road, I don't know if anyone anticipated this, and they have a defensive touchdown. Vikings defense has been ranked in the top 3 almost the whole year. So for them to be holding Indy's offense to nothing, okay, that seemed appropriate, but we'll see if we end up getting a tie score here before halftime, or at least a Viking field goal. Darnold. Little check down. Got about half the yardage there. How are you?
Well, it's been a little strange here in the first half, but I think Kevin O'Connell's going to go in and get guys. Come on. We're going to move the ball up and down. Just relax. Everything's going to come together here in the second half. Let's go make some plays. But the first half, a little strange.
Yeah, nothing is more frustrating than getting a 0 or a 1 or a 2 in fantasy. Someone getting ejected, someone getting hurt, someone not completing, finishing the game. It's really hard to win when you get a 0 or a 1 or a 2, and especially if you have a couple of those. Like a guy gets hurt, doesn't complete the game, or and then another guy just doesn't have a good game at all. You can only have so many 0s, 1s, or 2s before it catches up to you, especially if you're playing a quality opponent that doesn't have a 0 on their side. Calvin in the building, what's good? You ready to give up on watching the Saints like all the other fans? Are you guys still watching Saints games, or did you guys quit? Wow, look at Reichard with 2. Doink. Oh, my. Hasn't missed a field goal all year and then ends up missing 2. Trying to give Shep a chance or something here.
A vision concocted by me, James, 2 Irish legends with absolutely zero sway to me. I can't read it. I have jobs that prepared me to be attorney.
I agree. I agree.
And Disney Jungle Cruise skipper. Okay, maybe not that. A skipper. I worked with
Yeah. Well, Panthers are terrible. Saints are terrible. Bucks are terrible. And our worst nightmare, the Falcons are going to end up winning the division by default. Just based on everyone else being hurt and injured, and we're not even going to be able to give them a chance to earn it. They're just going to get it by default. So, and then we have to go into next year, and hopefully things get better for both of our teams. Was really hoping that we were going to have a 3-team race in the NFC South: Bucks, Saints, and Falcons, but that lasted about 2 weeks of the regular season and then went downhill for us. So, Chief with a $5. I appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. We're at 10 now, 90 to go. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you.
When you're sleeping, it's working to ensure you start every day with the charge you need. And every Ford electric vehicle now comes with it, along with standard installation. It's that simple. The Ford Power Promise. Electric vehicle confidence from day one. Okay,
Reflect with a $5. Calvin with a $5. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Sometimes it just takes one person to kind of get it going. So stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang, and hopefully we can get some field goals for Reflect. They're trying to make this game a nail biter for him and Shep. Calvin with a $5. Thank you so much, man. I don't know. I think Tez Johnson might be out for the year with a fractured collarbone or separated shoulder. At least we have Evan Stewart. I don't know if we're going to be good enough to beat Georgia in the Natty or Ohio State if we get that far. But I'm hoping that we do play Georgia or Ohio State in the championship. That's what I'm hoping for. But, losing Tez is a big fucking loss. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate it. But it does feel good, to be number one in the country for a few weeks. And we'll see if we can, stay undefeated in the regular season, play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, hopefully beat them again, and then go to the playoff and then see what happens. And we'll kind of see what happens from there. So Yeah, reflect. He hasn't missed a kick all year, and then he misses 2, one by a million, and then the other one he doinks it. I mean, this is just a weird game. If you got anybody playing in this game offensively, Colts weapons, Vikings weapons, even a kicker, we're disappointed right now because, again, the only points that have been given up or been able to, grab are Colts defensive points. That's it. So hopefully this game will open up the offense a little bit, but not what we anticipated with Flacco, Darnold, Taylor, Jones, Jetta, Downs, Reichert, or anybody else that you would have possibly had in fantasy this week. I don't know what the hell is going on this week in fantasy, but a little crazy. Yeah, Megan scoring the most points she's ever had. And I said, we had 3 teams that ended up doing double tight ends. So for National Tight Ends Day last week, that made sense. But then this week, when I was looking at it, I'm thinking, well, either they forgot to change their lineup or they're extremely, aggressive and they're just going to say, fuck it and try and see what happens. And the tight end position has been like the lowest scoring position of all positions. So to do that is risky, but I guess for Megan, didn't matter. And, when you end up doing it and you get 2 touchdowns out of your tight end, that's what might end up helping her end up winning this week by making that move, by dumb luck or what. So, but that's really cool to be able to see people, have success, after, being beat up, and again, the bottom 3 teams are going to definitely try to play spoiler to the top 5 teams. And it's not like, me and Sarah and Megan are going to be able to win, every week against any opponent. But, there's still going to be weeks where we may be able to compete and push people to their limits and maybe occasionally upset a team here and there as well. So, yeah. Let me know what I can do for photos for the people that donated. Let me know and I got you. And it's crazy, Reflect, if Shep would have, he wasn't probably going to get Eckler from me because I'm always on the wire anyways, but he probably had 5 minutes to grab Eckler and then make the substitution. And if he would have, that might have been the difference of him beating you this week. But since he didn't do that, and now he's projected to win, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully you can still end up getting some points out of Reichert, and we'll see what the defensive looks. But even if you end up getting a loss, you still got the best team top to bottom. Tyron didn't end up getting a touchdown, and that was kind of the maybe deciding factor too. When a guy normally scores every single week, but definitely an underwhelming week for Kyron for you. And obviously if Njoku could have got you a little bit more, you definitely got lucky with the Tolbert touchdown late. I ended up grabbing him, for a week and tried him, and he fucked me, and I had to let him go and ended up putting up the number. So at least you got the garbage touchdown out of him, and he had Dak get hurt, which didn't really help your input for CD or for Tolbert, but and him getting a 0. But sometimes that shit happens, right? Yeah, and especially if we're just doing best of 1 week, it really comes down to matchups. What your players play. Do they play a good team with defense or a shitty defensive team? And sometimes if you end up having 3 players out of your 9 on one team like Zini with a Joe Burrow, a Jamar Chase, and a Chase Brown, and they all hit, that could be the difference between winning and losing. But with those 3 people out of the 9, especially if they win big like they did today. So let me know what photos I can bring up for any of y'all. He said, old Tampa Booger McFarland. Okay, I got you. Chief O'Chief, Reflect, you let me know. Yeah, we'll get obliterated tomorrow. But who knows? Maybe the Bucs will actually play decent football. It's a little blurry there. See if I can find something better. Booker doesn't have any good photos, bro. All his photos stink. They're like I said, there's not really anything to grab from. They're all blurry or looking like shit. Like this one's too blurry. And then this is the only other one. Blurry photos, not appropriate. See, look at how blurry they are. Not even good enough to put on the stream. Roll the dice and shoot again.
And I love it that you see it show up on their defense. They play anywhere. Aiden Hutchins gets hurt. They don't care. They continue to go out there and play. Turnovers, all those things. I do get a little worried about how we're going to be able to continue to go without Hutchins. And we're going to have that pass rushing, but they're not playing from that head. Yeah, no doubt. I think that's a real concern for them. But the mentality, that's not the first time Dan Campbell has talked to them about this kind of stuff. It's what their culture is all about. I know people don't want to hear a lot about culture, but that's what they have. And the biggest part of culture is mindset, mentality, and they have the right one.
I think it's important to note that in the pregame, you guys said that the Lions are the best team in football right now. Tell me why.
I just think they're the most complete team. You mentioned they don't have the pass rush because Hutchinson's not there, but they can run it. They can run with different guys. They can throw it. They played the game on their terms, maybe more than any team in the National Football League right now. And the defense has gotten markedly better over the last year or so.
This is the face of everyone that has players playing tonight in fantasy in the Colts and the Vikings. Where are the points? Hopefully we get some in the second half. Thank you, Britt. Appreciate you. I got you. And like I said, I'm not going to be able to get everything right, but I'm going to do my best, based off matchups and give you the best advice that I can. So stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Brett. And Chief and Reflect and Calvin. $7-0 Colts. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out if we end up getting like a Ravens-Lions Super Bowl. Teams that are just trying to outscore the other. But at some point, defense has to step up at some point. Like you might be able to get away with it for a few weeks or a month or two, but once we end up going to the playoffs, if we end up, getting Lions and Ravens, if that's what we do get, it'll be very interesting to see how that all kind of shakes out. Let me get a Drew Brees up here for Calvin.
And not only that, what about the three-headed monster that is the Baltimore Ravens? I mean, take your poison.
I miss seeing these goats and these legends. I miss the pregame speeches from Drew and Ray Lewis on offense and defense. Shout out to all the people that have donated, commented, shared. Appreciate you. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help us get to 20. Appreciate you, Calvin. Let's get something for Chieful Chief here as well. Well, Jamal Charles for our boy Chief will Chief. And hopefully the Buccaneers and the Chiefs will have a little bit more points on the board than this at halftime next week or tomorrow. Calvin with a tour. Deion Walker is the next great nose tackle. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. See if I can find a photo. Appreciate you. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. There he is. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Chiefs Lions, we could have that too. Yeah. This could be the year that the Chiefs possibly, don't make the Super Bowl, though. At some point, the luck is going to run out. I mean, I guess it really depends on the offense. Defense doesn't really look as strong as it was, in years past. I mean, they're still undefeated, but it feels like, when you watch them, they're not really winning in dominant fashion. They're winning barely. So, at some point, they could get clipped in the playoffs if they play a team like the Ravens. But again, until we see it, you have to give the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt because they're so fucking good. It's like if you got Andy Reid and you got Mahomes and you got Kelsey and you got Chris Jones, until they actually get beat, then those are going to be the teams that we assume that will get there. So, and we'll see if the Lions can keep up their dominant presence, going in the NFC as we move along. But yeah, we could definitely see like a Lions Chiefs or maybe a Lions Ravens, and there might be another team that comes out of nowhere that ends up beating the Lions. I mean, we still got a long ways to go, about halfway through the season. So, all right. Love you. Appreciate you. Good job with the move. Congrats on your fantasy too. Zay in the building. What's good? I would have to go through and go back and watch more film and go through. I mean, I got an idea of who I like, but I wouldn't be able to give you a straight answer right now without doing a little research. I mean, I like watching Cam Ward play. It's like we got Dylan Gabriel as, he might be one of the top 5 quarterbacks, but there's some games where he doesn't really look that great. So, I mean, I'll have to, go through and watch some film, but I wouldn't be able to give you an answer right now. If you ask me, in about a week or in a few days, I probably would be able to give you a better answer. Yeah. Ravens pass defense ranks near last, but if they outscore you, and we have to kind of wait to see on, if it ends up being a high-scoring affair back and forth, anything could happen. And obviously we know Lamar hasn't been very good in the playoffs in his career. He plays great in the regular season, but not so much in the playoffs. So you never know. Well, at some point, the Chiefs won't be in the Super Bowl. But again, at this point, you have to almost pencil them in. Just like with the Patriots, as long as they're playing and as long as they have Brady, Gronk, and Belichick, as long as they got Reed, Chris Jones, and Kelsey and Mahomes, even though it hasn't looked pretty on offense this year, they're still finding ways to get the dub. So 27, 73 to go. Little handoff, short game. But with Lamar and Henry and Zay, if they can get things going, they might have themselves a chance to be able to make a Super Bowl in the next couple years. But again, you're going to have to get past a team like the Chiefs to get there. Darnold, wide open. First down, Hawkinson, move the chains. First down and 10. Oh, encroachment. Come on, Grover. But it feels like we have kind of the same type of teams that are kind of peaking, except the Niners, aren't in the mix because of all the injuries and whatnot. But Lions were good last year. They're looking to take the next step. Chiefs obviously are dominant every single year. We assume that that's one of the teams, but who's the other team that's going to more than likely play the Lions and Chiefs? That's what we don't know yet. As long as there's no serious injuries to the Chiefs and Lions, it's like you almost can pencil them in for that NFC, AFC championship game. But, who are they going to play against? That's the real question. Darnold up the middle for 2 yards. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Help us get to 20. I know we're getting pretty close. A few more likes and we're there. Where are we at right now on that? We are close. We're at 15. 5 more to go. So if you are in the room and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we're at 16. Thank you. 4 more to go. And shout out to all the new subs that we've been getting in the last 3-4 days. We've gained about 20. So shout out to all those new subs that are periodically watching or just being silent while we stream. Jay Jetta. Short gain. Incomplete to Munt. 3rd down and 9. Wow, he had him too. Johnny Munt, go Ducks. But you got to be able to make it a better throw. At least from that angle, it looked a little long. Addison with the grab on 3rd down and 9. 1st down and goal for the Vikings. Colts defense playing very, very well today. Much better than anyone anticipated with all these fucking weapons that Minnesota has. Nice job by Darnold. Playing a little bit of a soft zone, letting them have everything in front of them, but not behind them. But that might be the case when you're on the 20 to the 20. But once you're in the red zone, you got to be able to get there. Addison. Touchdown, Vikings. And again, no Jay Jetta touchdown, but Addison with the touchdown. Yeah, I don't know if anyone anticipated it being like this today. Imagine with a 5er. Wow. And we're at 158 for Megan, 160 for Zini, but all the Colts have to do is score some points, and then that defensive number goes down. So if the Colts score points, Megan's going to win. But if the Colts don't score points and it ends up being a rout, then Zini's going to win. But I almost wish that I could give you my win and give it to both of you ladies, because for teams to score 150, 5+ points both, they don't deserve to get an L. Whoever ends up losing doesn't deserve it. Kick is up and good. Yeah, but unfortunately, Reflect should probably have 7 points by now, not just 1. Obviously, missing a couple kicks and being negative, not good. But that's what happens sometimes in fantasy, right? You can't predict when a guy has never missed a kick up to this point and then, ends up having the worst luck ever. So we need Reflect to get 5 to 10 points at kicker, not being the negative or being at a 0. But yeah, now he's at -1. But this is a weird game. Again, I don't know. I don't think anyone anticipated it being a defensive slugfest like this. So let me know what you want to do for photos. We're knotted up at 7, but even though it's been a defensive battle, it hasn't been boring. Just a little shocking that the defense on both sides have been dominating. Vikings defense has been top 3 all year. Colts defense have been kind of middle of the pack, normally around like 15th or 16th. And every once in a while, they'll play like a top 5 or top 10 defense, but not every game, and then some games they get blown out. So, and the Colts aren't even at home, so you can't really use that as an excuse. Well, they got the home fans cheering them on. Well, they're on the road, so. All right.
Been in this community for decades. We've done a few commercials. We used to do a lot of crazier stuff when we were younger. Watch out. It's about getting people potential, making people see us, and now it's about how customers feel through experience, having a good selection and having a good price all the time for the best of everything in cars and trucks. Just gotta know where to go.
Cool helmet shot.
It's time for so much more, presented by Nationwide, and it is this defense of the Vikings. They have not given up.
See if I can squeeze in one more here. Cool helmet. Appreciate you. All right, Colts, your turn. He's a Mercedes #1 next year. Yeah, and I was really hoping Napa know-how for me and Brent's favorite driver, but he had the like the last opportunity out of the 8 drivers to get in, and he was in first and second place for a good chunk of the race, but Ryan Blaney missing out on a win last week and getting passed by Reddick. He didn't get passed obviously today, and they have the 4. Pretty crazy though that they only have one Hendrick driver in the playoff out of the 4. And a guy like Larson is probably feeling it the most, because I feel he had the most wins. I think he had like 5 or 6, and he didn't even make it. So how can you win like 6 races in a year and not even be in the final 4 for the championship? That doesn't make any sense. You win the most races throughout the year, even though, it is about points and, consistency and whatnot. But I imagine Larson feels even worse than Chase, because it's not like Elliott has been consistent in the points. But obviously, when you only win like a race compared to others that have won 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, but that's how the NASCAR points work. So it wouldn't surprise me if Blaney ends up winning the championship again. But you got Logano, you got Reddick, you got William Byron, and you got Ryan Blaney. So we'll see who ends up winning it out of those four. Byron will have a shot, but maybe it'll be a Blaney back-to-back. And Logano's won it before, so it's not like he can't win it. Reddick would be probably the most surprising out of everyone, but if you get into the championship and the final four, you know, and it just comes down to the points there at the end, and we'll figure out who ends up winning the NASCAR Cup Championship next week at Phoenix. All right, take care. I'll try to get some good juju for you with field goals. Maybe I can get you like a 60-yard field goal and get you 6 points to get you in the positive with Reichert, hopefully. Maybe a 50 or a 60, so. I mean, a game like this, it would be possible. I mean, even though he's missed 2, but that doesn't mean that Reichert can't come back with like a 60-yarder and get you 6, you know, at some point. Or 5 points with like a 58-yarder, like Aubrey got for me earlier today. Flacco, pressure behind him, and complete. Yeah, and sometimes you got to trust your gut in fantasy. You can be a green matchup. You know, you can end up having it, you know, how they do the rankings, you know, based off all the people on the website, and they could be ranked, you know, number 2 defense or number 2 kicker. But just because they're ranked number 2, you know, or number 1 for the week does not mean that they're going to hit, you know. Like even, you know, we'll see on how things all play out. But like even for like Bates and the Lions, he was the number 2 rated kicker, right? I had him and I had Aubrey. Aubrey had a green 32, but he was, you know, 4th best kicker, but he was ranked like 9th, you know, even though it's the best matchup overall with a green 32. So sometimes, you know, you got to look at the rankings and take them for what they are. And I had a weird feeling that Bates was, you know, they were going to score more touchdowns than field goals. So I decided to let him loose and just stick with Aubrey and then pick up, obviously, Darnold for my quarterback for next week against the Jags D. And it looks like I made the right decision. But again, you know, sometimes, you know, people will hang on to everything, the boom, bust projection number, the rankings. You know, sometimes you got to trust your own gut. Flacco. Michael Pittman with a nice catch there. First down, Colts. Few more likes to 20. Let's get there, baby. 7-7 game. And you know what? Even though this has been a 7-7 game, it's been entertaining. At least it has been for me. I don't know about some of y'all. You guys are probably frustrated like myself if you have any fantasy players on the Vikings or Colts, regardless if it's quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, or kicker. But hopefully it'll open up here in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Shotgun set. Flacco. Got to get rid of it. Tipped. Almost intercepted. Man, this is a defensive juggernaut battle here. Like, I don't think we've seen a matchup like this where you have so many weapons on offense on both teams, but they can't do anything. The offensive lines are getting dominated by the D lines, and it's very clear. Otherwise, we would have like a 21-17 kind of game right now. I mean, Downs with a 3? That's not what anyone anticipated. I mean, I could have thrown in Connor or Pollard or Tillman or Shakir in my lineup and got more. Hopefully, I end up getting a deep toss from Flacco to Downs for a touchdown in the 4th quarter. I got to get to at least 10 at that spot. Come on now. And at some point, Darnold has got to chuck it 50 yards. Same thing with Flacco. You got to go one-on-one, chuck it deep, and see if your weapon can make the big grab. Jetta, Addison, or whether it be Alec Pierce, Pittman, or Downs. Yeah. But it's not like watching the Giants and the Bengals a couple weeks ago. Like, I can enjoy any NFL game or college football game. But again, defense, wins games and defense wins championships, and I appreciate that. But also, we want points, right? We want field goals. We want touchdowns. We want running back touchdowns. We want wide receiver, tight end touchdowns. Hell, at this point, we'll even take a Darnold or a Flacco running in for a touchdown. So, I mean, I was hoping for like a 24-20, 27-24 kind of game, but the way that this is playing out, it might end up being like a 17-14 kind of game, 17-13 kind of game, 14-10 kind of game. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know how many points are going to be scored before this ends. Could end up being a 13-10 game, where it ends up going into overtime and there's a field goal kicker that kicks the game winner. I don't know. Got so many stars in this game. Let's get some points, baby.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Blaney, Reddick, Logano, and Byron. Go Byron. Hopefully William Byron wins it all, but I would say Blaney probably has the most momentum based off the last two races to be able to go back-to-back champion. Speed with the catch. We're at 32, 68 to go. First down and 10. Darnold's 22 for 26, so it's not like he's inaccurate. There's been a lot of intermediate throws. Nobody's open. Pass incomplete. Flag on the play. Oh, hold on the Colts secondary. I mean, Byron started off the year hot with those 3 wins and then didn't really do that well, after that point. But, yeah, if I had to choose one, I mean, Joey Logano is going to get on some people's nerves. Some people like him. Some people hate him. Kind of like a Kyle Busch. Reddick, is kind of, he's a part of that Jordan brand, and he's, obviously, up and coming, right? And then Blaney won it last year, and then you got Byron, so. But I'd rather have a guy like Chase or Byron win for Hendrick. But would not be shocked if Blaney wins it. I mean, he's super talented. And it seems like he's catching fire at the right time. So, but also Blaney, Reddick, and Logano have all won races in the playoff, right? Byron has not. So, you know, unless he ends up winning the last race at Phoenix. So we'll see how it goes. 2nd down and 7. Shotgun set. Darnold. Pressure. Pump fake. And he's taken off. 1st down. Vikings. Move the chains. Wow, Megan and Zini at 158 apiece. Colts need to score points, and then that'll be the difference. Aaron Jones with the catch. 8-yard gain there from Aaron Jones down to the Indy 42. Kenny Moore with the tackle with Cross. Oh, where did you meet Ryan's dad at? At like a gas station or something in town? Or like at a restaurant or something? 2nd down and 2. Aaron Jones with no gain there. Good defense by the Colts. Colts defense have ranked as 22nd, so they have slid a little bit in the last few weeks. At one point, they were like 16th. But for a team that is 22nd in D, 18 points in fantasy, sitting there on the wire. But again, not many people are going to grab Colts defense against all those Minnesota Viking weapons. That would have been very risky. Darnold, going long, going deep, got a man. Jetta down to the 2. Wow. Yeah, looks like we Reflect might end up having his first defeat this year. Not sure if Shep really deserved it, though, by having a 0 and leaving in a guy with a 0, but that's what happens sometimes. You got enough good players in the lineup, even with the 0, and you win. Paisley smells food. She's like, I want out. I need a sniff. Yeah. Sounds like Reichard may or may not come back. That's tough. Got to call timeout. There's a timeout. Oh, did they get the timeout or is it delay game? First charge timeout, Minnesota. And it's a beautiful thing to look at when you look at Megan and Zini's fantasy lineup. When you see numbers like that on both sides, you know, wish we could give them both W's. Nobody deserves to lose when you score that many. Let alone, you know, the difference between the winner and loser might be by like a half a point or a point or two. depending on how the rest of this game goes. Nice job, ladies. Darnold. Colts defense is everywhere. Darnold, touchdown, Vikings. Naylor, another individual, not a Jetta, not a Hawkinson, not an Addison. And sometimes that's what happens. You know, it ends up being that one guy that nobody has in fantasy that ends up getting the tutty. 13-7 Vikings. Extra point is up and good. Wide open right there too. Wow. Touchdown, Minnesota. All right, Colts, your turn. I'm ready for a Joe Flacco to Downs touchdown. Let's go. Darnold at 15.7. Good. I mean, I'm not using him right now. Obviously, that'll be for next week. So, and against the Jags D, I should be able to get 20 to 30. Hopefully. Knoxville Raceway in Iowa. Oh, nice. All right. Well, the Vikings decided to ramp it up here a little bit. 14-7. But I think the Colts are still in this. They just got to be able to get enough time with that offensive line for Flacco to gain some rhythm to go to his weapons. A little bit of Taylor, a little bit of Pittman, a little bit of Pierce, a little bit of Downs, and then we got something cooking. All right, I'm going to go Paisley a little bit of food. I'll be right back.
That's what a Big Mac is. It's not. Big Mac. The chicken Big Mac.
When my doctor gave me Breasttreat for my COPD, things changed for me. Breasttreat gave me better breathing, symptom improvement, and reduced flare-ups.
Breasttreat won't replace a rescue inhaler for some breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breasttreat when it's prescribed. Breasttreat may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Ask your doctor about Breasttreat.
All right, Tina. Okay,
not soccer, but
yes.
I'm telling you, Jim.
Why you don't stop?
Yes.
We don't pass.
They help give you more.
I text her question.
And they have a 97% satisfaction rating.
So I think
You could have done it in a British accent.
that's helpful. For savings and service, get more with Geico.
NFL Folks League-wide nonpartisan initiative supports diverse civic engagement among the entire NFL family. More information and to make your voter game plan for the upcoming election day on Tuesday. Please vote. Visit NFL.com/vote. State capital here across the river. See all that. Sam Darnold after that touchdown, that hand up after the score. It was talking with the athletics training staff. The score as well. They were talking to fine there, but they were grabbing
All right, Colts, your turn.
for a touchback. Without Melissa.
Yeah, Mike, we've been keeping an eye on Vince Darnold down here. You're walking up and down. It's kind of moving up and down, testing that forward front. He's sitting with the athletic trainer. Darnold did say, "Oh, training staff continue to walk athletes that stuff still walking down, trying to test it."
Lay down.
Also, over his own.
Halfback toss to Taylor. Not a whole lot of room against that Minnesota Viking defense. Short gain. 2nd down and 9 on the Indy 31. Lay down. Over here. Lay down. Second down and 9. Flacco. Taylor. Just a lot of dinking and doinking by the Colts here, as well as Minnesota. You know, you got to rip it. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. I'll cover you up. Lay down. There we go, Downs. 16-yard gain. First down, Colts. I need more. I mean, downs. Give me all downs. There we go. Lay down. No, I don't want you going in there. Handoff. End of the third quarter, 14-7 Minnesota. Nobody. No one on planet Earth anticipated this. You know, again, like sometimes, you know, we have an idea of how the flow of the game will go, but yeah. Lay down over here. Lay down over here. Can you lay down over here? Can you lay down over here? Lay down over here.
Everyone is on right now. Imagine this. A mild to moderate eczema treatment that targets inflammation at a key source right where you need it, without steroids. Example, imagine using one single strand to clear skin and fix it. No, it's not imaginary.
Here, I want you to move over here. There's not enough room for you to be under there. I want you to move over here. Over here.
Oxalora is proven to help clear or almost clear skin and significantly reduce itch. Wow. Imagine that.
Serious bone infections, skin cancer, blood clots, and low blood cell counts are covered with Oxalora. If people taking JAK inhibitors due to infections, increased risk of death, lymphoma, lung cancer, and major cardiovascular events have occurred. The most common side effect is common cold.
Imagine a single steroid-free cream that provides eczema relief at your fingertips. That's Oxalora. Relief reimagined. Ask your eczema specialist about reducing itch fast with Oxalora.
Yeah, I don't think anyone had 14-7 with these kind of offenses with the potential weapons that they have. But again, it's been a defensive grind, and we'll find out here if we can get some points with the Colts. And if you get points with the Colts, you'll end up winning in fantasy. If they don't get points, then Zini's going to win. So it's going to come down to the wire, because it looks like all the other matchups have, for the most part, been decided. But right now, Megan is at 158, and she's finished. Zini's at 158.94, and Minnesota's defense is at 9. So if you end up scoring points, that number goes down slightly, and that could be the difference between winning by a point or losing by a point or two. So Joe Flacco to Josh Downs, baby. Let's go. Flacco to Downs. You hear me, sports gods? Flacco to Downs. Not enough speed for Flacco there. Flag on the play. Might be a hold. Oh, Jonathan Taylor with a chop block. Uh-oh, Jonathan. You know, and that's why they decided to draft AR. They wanted to be able to get past, you know, of just having a veteran quarterback every year. You know, it's like you want to have that stability that you had with Peyton or even with Andrew Luck for a few years. Shows you how hard it is to be able to find, the right one. You know, it's not easy. Second and 25, now second and 30 with a false start. Come on, Indy. Focus. What is this, the Raiders? We need some discipline out there. Come on. You're down by 7. Come on, Colts. Let's go, Joe. Flacco launches it. Got a man. Wow. Toe drag swag to Adonai Mitchell, the draft pick. Wow. That's a big play. 3rd down and 8 now. 1. Woo! Nice toe drag swag by Mitchell. What a catch. That was incredible. To get the toe in the right position for the first toe tap is amazing, but that second one even more. As he's falling out of bounds, and to drag that second foot, with 6 inches, and see the pellets come up. Awesome. Flacco? Intercepted! What was that? Oh my. That's not getting me fantasy points. Come on, Flacco. Zini gets another point for an interception. 160.94 to 158. Wow. Come on, Joe. You could still be a hero in the 4th. Good defense there by the Vikings. That's a no. Absolutely not. If Flacco, who's a good quarterback, is having a hard time getting it done, and AR has the lowest percentage of open targets that he can't even complete a pass, no. I know that you love him still and you drafted him and whatnot, but the realization has to be that, that might have been the wrong person, Again, he didn't have that much experience, obviously in college, and, as far as athleticism, and, doing good in the combine, yeah, but again, being able to throw the football, accurately, he can't do it, and again, he can be a runner, but again, he doesn't know when to go down or go out of bounds, and he gets hurt. So, the intelligence is a big factor there. He doesn't got it. Like I said, at one point, maybe he will, but there's no way that they would put AR in the game. If you bench a guy, you benched him because he stinks and he's not good. You still have a better chance of still tying this game up or going to overtime with Flacco. So. Just got to be able to come to terms. It was just a bad draft pick. That was not the right player to pick, And again, if he was able to stay healthy, make his reads, he could have been the next Cam Newton, But unfortunately, he's the Daniel Jones of Cam Newtons. He's not good, He's got an athletic frame. Now, he can run. That's one positive thing about AR. He can run, right? But again, running the football can only get you so far with all these weapons. And I think a lot of the people were getting frustrated. I know I would be frustrated as a running back, wide receiver, and tight end if that was my quarterback. Intercepted! And just like that, the Colts get it back. Wow. There you go. So you don't need AR in the game. You just need the Colts to get a defensive play. Nice job, Cross. Pass intended for Jay Jetta, and Cross with the pick. Yeah, and like I said, it's hard to be able to, pick the right quarterback in the draft. You've seen so many quarterbacks, not be able to make it. There's 32 quarterbacks. That doesn't mean all 32 are good. We only have like 16 that are like respectable, and the other 16 are in the league, but it doesn't really mean anything. They're better than some of the other backups, but it's hard to be able to be a good quarterback in the NFL and be consistent and not get hurt and be smart and get better. All right, here we go. It's time to tie the game up. We just need more consistency out of the Colts defense, so that way they're not ranked 22nd. They could end up doing this more often, then they would be top, 12 defense, and that would be much better. But for every one good game the Colts have, they might have 2 or 3 bad ones, so kind of hard to be able to use the Colts defense with confidence week in and week out, Got to be able to, play the matchups. 3rd down and 8. Pass incomplete to Pittman. Should have went to Downs. Yeah, well, Vikings D's top 3. Field goal kick is up and good. There we go, Gay. Minnesota's defense is 3rd. 21, 12, 14, 3, 18, 10, 0, 11. So they've only had 2 bad games, Green Bay and the Rams. And every other game that the Vikings defense has played has scored 10 or more. So that's why they're as good as they are this year, because of that defense. Nice kick by Gay to get that yardage there. Almost missed it, though.
Not to be redundant, but it's been 47 straight years that more people have chosen the Whiteboard F-Series than any other.
All right, 14-10. We're in the fourth quarter. Who wants it more? Whose defense is going to make the big play that might end up being the difference? We're going to find out. Kind of feels like, whatever defense plays well here in the fourth might be the team that ends up winning it. I mean, we already got one defensive touchdown. Are we in store for another? Well, we'll have to wait and see. And there's still going to be an opportunity to go to Downs or Pittman or Pierce deep. And if Flacco can make that connection, that could be the difference in this game. Good old Joe.
All in for the spontaneous road trip and well-planned vacation. For worry-free commutes, awesome adventures, and great escapes. From camping under the stars to 4-star hotels. Here where you need us most, with the best roadside assistance. Like we have for more than 120 years. Wherever your journey takes you, we're here to power it. AAA, here for you.
Save now with Bymart's latest savings book. Watch for it in your mailbox or pick up a copy in store. Find our best savings as you walk in the door in the bonus zone. Owner's Choice bath tissue and paper towels are just $19.99 each. France cookies are 2 for $5. Extra detergent is hot priced at $2 off. Plus pick up Brown and Haley Rokas for just $4.99. 16 pages of store-wide savings are going on now, only at Weimar.
NBC Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Hyundai. There's joy in every journey. By Walmart, get the gifts that show you get them. Let's go playoffs in football. Friday night, the top seed Maple Grove beat Prairie 34-0. Number 39, the Minnesota Class 6A second round. The state playoff road ends right here. U.S. Bank state playoffs. Number 9 in football, which is a great part of the smaller community. All kids here with big guys. Great high school team. Touchback, take over the rest of the night.
Next one to Walmart. Scott came. Got here up today. And it's been playing really well. I'm going to let the run game shoot guy. Everybody's about to get 35 pounds. And also in the passing game. And it's got a little love for the quarterback as well. Anytime you see him on the ground, there you go. Cam Robinson lifts him right back up. So, big addition.
It's the third time an offensive line midweek started since 2000. It's pretty impressive.
Akers.
This ground is running 5 yards past the 35-yard line towards Achilles a couple of times. Comes back to play for Kevin O'Connell in this offense again.
14-10 Vikings. Wow. Right up the gut on that Colts defense. First down, Vikings. Move the chains. Shotgun set. Wow. Akers having a rebirth. Yeah, Colts team might be getting a little tired. They're not out of it yet, though. Darnold, but here comes the blitz, and he throws it into the turf. DeForest Buckner on the prowl. Go Ducks. And we'll be doing Bucks and Chiefs for Monday night on tomorrow. And then as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, since we don't have baseball anymore, I'll have to kind of take a peek on what would be available for us to do. Kraken play against the Avalanche on Tuesday, so maybe we'll do that. And then Wednesday, maybe we'll just take the day off. Warriors Celtics is on Wednesday. That would be actually something that I would consider doing. No Blazers on Wednesday either, so. We're at 32, 68 to go. Come on, Colts. Quiddy Pay. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. There you go. Yeah, and for any Colts fan that thinks that if AR was playing today that they would have more points, they wouldn't. You know, if AR was playing today, they probably would be at 0 or maybe 3. So, you know, he had his time. He had his chance. You got to let Joe do what Joe does. You guys are going against a top 3D. Okay, it's not easy. And again, Joe will have, you know, better opportunities and better games moving forward. It's just kind of a tough part of the schedule. So good defense there by the Colts and Quiddy Pay. They're in it still. We just need that long touchdown, right? That long attempt for Pittman or Downs or Pierce or all three. You know, you just need to sling it, you know. And yeah, it could end up into an interception. We know that. But if Joe can get enough time on that offensive line to block, he might be able to put enough touch on it where only the receiver can get it. And then if they go up 17-14, they will have a chance to win this game. But if they end up getting a field goal or nothing, it's going to be a lot harder with 9:22 left here in the fourth quarter. They're still in it. But they are running out of time. Come on, Joe.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
When my doctor gave me Breasttreat for my COPD, things changed for me. Breasttreat gave me better breathing, symptom improvement, and reduced flare-ups.
Breasttreat won't replace breast inhaler for sudden breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breasttreat more than prescribed. Breasttreat may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Ask your doctor about Breasttreat.
Why do 80% of NFL players choose Sleep Number Smart Bed?
Because the higher my sleep IQ score, the better I play. But that's not the only reason.
He likes his side firm. I like my side soft.
Sleep Number does that. Effortless comfort all night. So sleeping on a smart bed is why you can play like this?
Yeah, because I also like to sleep cool.
And I like to sleep even cooler.
And I really like it when we both get what we want.
Sleep Number does that. Introducing the new Sleep Number Climate Cool Smart Bed. Sleep up to 15 degrees cooler on each side. Visit a Sleep Number store near you.
Thursday night football on Prime. It's on.
This week, Cincinnati football prize.
Looks like I'm making you a team right now.
It's Thursday night football. Oh, it's Joe Burrow and the Bengals versus Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. AFC North matchup. Extreme Thursday night football. Bengals Ravens at 7 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime.
See South Leaders. It's Sunday night. Detroit by 7-1. visit CK's down Texas, trying to pick themselves up after the loss to the Jets. See if I'm used to this Sunday night. Takes to see a team which is not the opener. It was supposed to be that. Bring back full record. 2014. Colts take up for down 4. They're on 21.
Jonathan Taylor not ready.
These two divisions represented next Sunday and tonight. Numbers. There's the league for Houston and Detroit. Houston losing, Chris. I know they've been struck by the Texans, but folks, when they're only even in their division, Houston need to be important here.
Yeah, but also with Cam Ward, if he doesn't have the right, team and the right weapons, the right offensive line, the right offensive coordinator, it may or may not work right away. We know how great he is at the U, and he was great at Washington State for the Cougs, but for a guy like that, he seems like he's one of the better quarterbacks in college, and I'm not sure if the Colts would go for a quarterback after they just went for a quarterback and it didn't work. You probably have a lot of other positions that need to be filled: O-line, D-line, defense. So going and trading up for Cam Ward probably isn't a realistic option. Now, obviously, if you got him and it worked, yeah, great. You know what I mean? But not sure if they would do it again after doing it with AR and having it fail, Jonathan Taylor with a short gain. But Cam Ward on the Colts would be exciting. Cam Ward on any fucking team would be exciting as long as he keeps developing. The Gambit Funko is a bauble. Nice. Love me some baubles. After the game is over and I eat dinner and go for a long walk with Paisley, I'm probably going to go in the garage and look through some of my boxes. I have no idea what's in there, just to see what I can find. Big hit there by the Vikings. (14-10) Minnesota. We're still waiting for that big throw for Joe Flacco. Yeah, and it seems like more season ticket holders for the Seahawks are selling their tickets, which doesn't help the home field advantage of the 12s like it used to. A lot of the season ticket holders are selling to the rival fan base. And, it was very evident in that Buffalo Bills matchup. But like I said, I watch the games every week, and I'm always looking in the crowd to see, where, normally the season ticket holders would be. And it definitely feels like a lot of them are selling their tickets instead of going within the last couple of years. Maybe not every game, but, they're definitely being a little bit more selective on the games that they're going to instead of just going to every home game like a lot of the 12s used to. Man in motion. And they can always buy the tickets on the free market, instead of getting them from actual Seahawks season ticket holders. But if you want the close tickets, then you got to pay up, right? So. Yeah, and it shows you the team isn't complete yet. You're going to have moments where Geno looks terrible in the first quarter, amazing in the second quarter. You're not going to be able to make everybody happy, And again, the team you're trying to build it. This is the first year coach, and everyone else is injured and everyone is trying to win the division. The Cardinals now have caught up and everyone is sitting around 500. It can really go any way. But, whoever ends up being the most consistent is going to end up winning the division. You have to stay away from the injuries the best that you can, right? But it's a work in progress. You're not, again, the offensive line and the defense are nowhere near where they need to be for Seattle to be able to run away with the division. They're still quite a few pieces away from that. They just have to try to play the best they can week in and week out. That's all they can do. Flacco. Pittman, intended receiver, incomplete. And it also depends on, the fans themselves. Do they have, realistic expectations, or are they not realistic? I mean, anybody can cheer and anybody can boo when shit goes bad, but again, it's, having to weather the storm, especially when the team is not complete. It's not like this team is the same team with Russ and the Legion of Boom. It's not like that same type of team, and then you're losing games because they're underperforming or playing bad. It's like, you got to build it for a couple years, and then hopefully you guys will be able to have some, long-term success there. Flacco. Big hit. No flags called. Good defense there by Minnesota. Oh, of course, dude. You already know how it goes. That's why I told you guys we have to stick together. You, me, Huskies, Trojans, Bruins. Like, no matter what, even if some of the teams are not having the season that they want, we have to stick together as the 4 teams entering that conference. And I know that the Big Ten members, they don't like it when they see a team like Oregon come up there and win the division and be number 1. They thought that, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and all their regulars, would not fold to new teams like Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. But the reality is, once Washington and USC get better, then we're going to have those teams in the top, 6 or 7 also. It's just going to take a couple years for you guys to try to get to the, the Oregon level, But for a while, it's going to be Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and then this year we have Indiana up there, and then you're going to have like that second tier of teams, the Michigans and, whether it be USC or Washington, and there's going to be that second tier, Iowa, Wisconsin. The main thing is you just don't want to be in the bottom, where all the bottom feeder teams are in the Big Ten. So, and I honestly think that the Pac-12 was better than the Big Ten, top to bottom. I think the top teams and the middle teams in the Big Ten, respectable. But the teams that are in the middle to the bottom, they're ass cheeks. They're not good. I think that the Pac-12 had better teams in the middle and bottom in our conference than the Big Ten. Like those middle to bottom teams in the Big Ten are booty cheeks. Sometimes they'll win games, but, that's my opinion on it, Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Washington State, Oregon State. Give me those teams over the middle to bottom teams in the Big Ten. Those teams actually can win games and that we're underrated. So. Yeah. Well, again, not every fan base is created equal, and there's going to be a lot of dumb fans that think they know football, but they don't know shit. They think they don't know shit. That's just the reality. Some people watch a lot of film, they watch a lot of games, and they understand football, and some, they think they know everything, but if they don't read and they're not watching, more games than just their own favorite team, they're not going to really have an understanding of how the NFL works. They think they do, but they don't, and every fan base is going to have a lot of dummies. That's just the reality. Michael in the building. What's good? Fly, Eagles, fly, my guy. Well, you don't really got to worry about the Cowboys anymore. You got to worry about the Commandos. That's what you got to worry about, because they got a new team there with a new coach and a new quarterback. So, the Commandos and Eagles will make the playoffs, but who's going to go farther? That's the real question. Yeah. Sounds like it's toxic every week. Hard place to support when you got so much toxicity there. And I think if Brandon did a better job, cutting off the delusional fans or the toxic fans instead of worrying about sub count and views, maybe it would be a little bit more pleasant over there. Wow, really? Yeah. But again, some fan bases are more toxic than others, you know, and you wouldn't think that the Seahawks would be a toxic fan base, but, you know, based on, you know, people and friends and others, you know, that are been in rooms like that, you know, I've kind of heard the same thing. It may not be the Eagles, it may not be the Saints, but I think that people would be surprised that it's as toxic as it is, you know, especially when they, you know, want to get rid of the coach or the quarterback or DK. It seems like every week there's always someone complaining about something that doesn't need to be complained about, you know. That makes it hard for the other fans to be able to, you know, appreciate the stream or the game when you got people just fucking complaining, you know, nonstop, left and right, you know. Like, pick and choose your battles when you want to complain, you know, but you get people that just like to hear their own voice and complain to complain, you know, and that gets annoying. I wouldn't want to be a part of a channel like that in my, you know, just me personally. You know, I appreciate that you support, you know, B and Brandon, but sounds like there's way too much negativity in that fucking channel. But again, it all depends on what you care about. Do you care about the mental health of your fans, or do you just care about the views and the subs and the donos, and you'll let a lot of that inappropriate behavior slide because that's what you care about? I mean, that's really what it comes down to, you know. But it sounds like he might be, you know, eliminating some people, but not enough from that channel, because it seems like every week you have something to say about that channel, and it's not positive. Even if you like Brandon as a host, you know, it's up to the host to be able to monitor the negativity in the room, and then it really shows you what he cares about overall. But it seems like there's too much negativity there. Nice defense there by the Colts. Yeah, but do you actually think that he cares enough to get rid of the toxic people? You know, I mean, even if like people were toxic and donating, you know, I would rather not have that donation come to me. You know, it's not worth it, you know. And I imagine there's probably people that are toxic as fuck there that donate, and he just lets it slide because they donate, you know. But again, you have to get to a point where it's not all about the views and the subs and the money. You know, it's about the positivity overall in the room. And, you know, I'm just going based on the things that you have told me. So, but I haven't really heard too much positivity out of that channel. Seems like it's a negative every week. I mean, hell, even when you guys win, it's negative. That's tough. That's a tough environment. First down, Vikings. I mean, hell, when you guys even win games, people are complaining, right? I mean, this is what you guys have told me. You know, even when you guys win, there's someone bitching and moaning, complaining, oh, DK needs to get traded or this or that. It's like, it seems like your fan base is not ever happy. Like, you know, like I said, you might get a small percentage, you know, that will, you know, just be okay with the win or the loss. But you get a lot of people, it sounds like, you know, and it's not just that particular stream. It feels like Seahawk fans in general, you know, and, you know, I'm not saying that they have a toxic fan base, but from Seahawk fans themselves telling me what's going on, you know, and others, you know, that are interacting with Hawk fans, it seems like it's been kind of getting worse and worse over the years. There's going to be great fans of every team, you know, but again, some fan bases are going to be a little bit more toxic than others. There's going to be more intelligent fans, you know, than others, you know, some that know football and some that they think that they know football and they don't. So. Going to the Super Bowl is unrealistic. Anyone that thought the Seahawks would be going to the Super Bowl this year, that is, that's interesting. I mean, the first thing is like, okay, let's try to win the division with the first new coach, you know, let's try to go there first, you know, but instead of skipping, winning the division and trying to win 10, 11 games, Super Bowl, that's unrealistic. I mean, especially if the team isn't built for a Super Bowl run, you know. But again, some people are smart and some are dumb, you know. Some people have realistic expectations and some don't, you know. I mean, you're setting yourself up for failure if you think that the Hawks were going to go to the Super Bowl this year. But hopefully they will get to a point where they're good enough where they do get there, you know, but they got a little ways to go. Yeah.
On the right, J.J. McCarthy, the first-round pick. First in this is right here, the first preseason game. We had going well as travel with the team, obviously here to the home.
Yeah, but the more successful you are and the more views you get, the more subs you get, and the more money you make, you know, again, some people, you know, are true to themselves, and some people, they change, you know, when the money changes and the views change. Not every person is created equal and stays true to themselves. You know, things change. Money changes people. Not everyone, but it does. First down and 10. Handoff. Good defense there by the Colts. Yeah, but at least in a couple days, we won't be seeing as many political ads, regardless of what side you're voting for or if you're even voting at all. You know, those get a little ridiculous. Second down and 11. Man in motion. Darnold, play action fake. Little bootleg. Got a man. Touchdown, Vikings. Oliver with the tutty. Extra point is up and good. 21-10 Vikings. Yes, it is. It is over. Yeah, but again, if you had AR, it wasn't going to make a difference. You would have probably put up less points if AR played. It might be 21-0 or 21-3 or 21-6. But I guarantee you wouldn't have had more than 10 points with AR. Just a tough team on the road. And again, you played a top 3 defense. Hard to win when you play a top 3 D.
Situation with the Colts, they're selling out for the run, closing in on the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
Sharp play call there. The Vikings lead by 11.
21-10 Vikings.
That's a career high, 3 touchdowns for Oliver to start the first 7 games of this season. One offensive is out.
Sam Darnold, much strength. Around, you can get bench, you can Anthony Richardson and punch his arm to somebody. Sam Darnold probably would be a decent guy. It's like sometimes it just takes a little longer than others. If you've seen teams like the Green Bay Packers who believe that.
Nice job, Darnold. 19 points. I'll be able to use that next week against the Jags. If the Colts offensive line was better, this game would be much closer. But you just got dominated by the Vikings D line, and that's really a concern. You know, you got all these great weapons and whatnot, but before getting a Cam Ward, you know, at quarterback, you guys need to be able to beef up that offensive line. And if you beef up that offensive line, the quarterback, you know, won't matter as much because you'll actually have time to go through your progressions, which Flacco and AR have not had time really this year. So.
Right? Only got to go ask.
To find out the claim, just tap right here, upload pictures, customer.
Troy ain't on the first 9 bucks. Sure. If you subscribe your status, just click. Super easy. You're doing great, everyone. Ooh, you're a pro.
Scroll, tap, scroll. Ow! Whoa! I'm cramping.
Yeah, we've all been there.
For savings and service, get more with Geico. I overdid it. Like a showboat, I just overdid it.
Listen up, get tight.
This is the most important time I've ever called.
Things are getting out of control out there.
And we need to recruit.
Hate.
Hate is winning out there.
In our communities. On our streets. In our schools. And we need to start.
So let's take this moment.
To change the momentum.
We call it time out.
On hate. Together. Together.
Some days you can feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine. 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. And treatment is 4 times a year. In a survey, 91% of users wish they'd started sooner. So why wait? Talk to your doctor.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Chronic migraine may still keep you from being there. Why wait? Talk to your doctor about Botox and get in the picture. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
I'm your football obsessed best man. When all eyes are on you, my eyes are glued to the game. And if you didn't bundle your home and auto insurance, well, all of this is gonna be tough to tackle. So get all stick.
For real though, I got fucking baseball's over. NASCAR's gonna be over next week. It's like, I mean, I can watch a little bit of the Blazers and whatnot, but I mean, I still really don't like the NBA that much, you know, and I can watch NHL here and there and whatnot, but offensive line stinks for the Colts. No time. Another sack lunch after sack lunch after sack lunch. Capri Sun after Capri Sun after Capri Sun after Squeeze It, Oreo, fucking Chips Ahoy, Doritos, Fritos. Golly. It also doesn't help that Joe's 39 and has no ability to scramble out of the pocket. If he had a little bit of movement, you know, him and Aaron Rodgers got like no mobility. So it's like if he doesn't have enough time to be able to see his read, he's not going to be able to get the ball there. Sermon with the short grab. Let's go, baby. Downs, baby. There we go. You get downs, but then you get a sack lunch right after. Well, at least Downs got to 12 and matched your Tyreek number. Golly. Help a brother out. My God. Well, we should get a better one tomorrow. I don't expect the Buccaneers to win or play well, but hopefully it's not, golly, can't even complete it to Alec Pierce. Flag on the play. 12 man. All right, second down.
Flores upset with that, but Chris, it's been a good game in that regard for Minnesota. Just a second penalty of the night.
Just sitting upstairs like we are. You look at the defense and you go, well, I know what they're lining up in, but I have no idea what they're going to end up in. And there have been many confusing plays.
Shotgun set. Flacco. Rip it. Intercepted. Defensive pass interference, though. All right, take care. Appreciate you. And I'll be live tomorrow for Bucks and the Chiefs tomorrow on Monday night. Take care. Appreciate all the support. All right, sounds good. Field goal up by Gay and good. 54-yarder, 5 points in fantasy for somebody. Good kick by Gay there. Good leg on that one. Now you're down by 8. Buffalo, the Jets, Detroit, New England. It's tough. That Jets game could go either way, too. I mean, you don't really know how, that would play out. You would assume you'd be able to beat New England, but... But you never know. Sometimes you get weird outcomes. Like, I don't think anyone anticipated the Cardinals winning 29-9 against the Bears. I think some people thought the Bears had a chance in that game, so you never really know how things will play out in the NFL. Collinsworth, you idiot. I don't think I've said that in a while. Timeout called.
Showed out there and go from there. Make the adjustment. So what do you think of the kickoff?
We need one more like to get to 20. If you're in the room and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Thank you. We got it. There we go. We hit 20, baby. There we go. Thank you. And shout out to all the new subs that we've gotten in the last few days as well, about 20. Shout out to them as well. Could be worse. Could you imagine if Collinsworth did play-by-play? Then people would probably go deaf and blind. So at least be happy that he only does color and Tarico does play-by-play, because play-by-play is much harder than doing color. And we wouldn't want to have a lot of NFL fans be blind and deaf because of Chris. Onside kick has the height, but Vikings recover. Jetta up there. And there's the kneel down. Final score, Minnesota 21, Indianapolis Colts 13. Wish the Colts could have played a little bit better for you, Sarah. They're on prime time. But again, offensive line, both of them got obliterated today by the defense. This definitely was a defensive-minded game. And if we could have just got a little bit more on the offense with Flacco or with Taylor or Downs or Pittman or Pierce, then maybe this would have gone down to the wire to a 24-21 kind of game. But hopefully everyone enjoyed, obviously, tonight. And we got the Bucks and the Chiefs tomorrow. No problem. I appreciate you, Zay, Sarah, Megan, Captain, everyone. I love you guys and appreciate you, Toby. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.